So when we focus on attendance, we take a multi-tiered approach. And I know that when Dave's district partnered with us, they started with the foundation tier 1. And I know that Dave, just in your 4 years, I think we implemented this when you became superintendent, actually.
Correct. Yeah. So if you look down at that, that bar, that tier 1 universal interventions, that is just a whole host of tailored, nuanced, focused ways and different ways that we can communicate with students and their families, depending on how they're performing in attendance. We look at the staff recognition program. I would have never conceived of doing something like this, but through the SINA partnership, we actually had at our board meeting just a few months ago at the end of last school year, we had a really nice staff recognition program where some plaques were handed out to some principals who had been taking lead on some of the work and helping mentor some of our newer principals and just identifying places where attendance has been improving at the highest rate, et cetera. But then you can see on the bottom of your screen just all the types of different ways that we communicate. And then I think you'll be impressed in a few more slides when you see actually the numbers of those.
I want to point out in the bottom left-hand corner, in 2021, 5,000 communications were sent out to families in the district about attendance. And in 21-22, 38,000 communication pieces were sent to parents and students about attendance. And those were not just reaction based letters. Those were proactive, engaging pieces. So Dave, I'd love to hear the reaction you've seen and from your team and and your community on these issues.
Yeah, well, sometimes what's impactful in the reaction is sometimes a lack of reaction. And what I mean by that, a little bit tongue in cheek. Of course, we get reaction. There's been a lot of positive reaction, but sometimes it's what you don't get too. We've seen a reduction in, any of the antagonistic or misunderstanding that can happen, or the tension, maybe that's the right word, the tension that can happen between parent or guardian and the school site. When you're able to build a more robust pipeline of communication between the parent and actually communicate with more parents than you did before, because you're either affirming or you're nudging, and you're not reacting with that strong, progression towards SARB. So I just want to highlight that it's been positive, but what's just as important is, a reduction in the negative, a reduction in the tension, which of course elevates trust, it builds rapport, and it just helps develop the right mindset for attendance.